got 282,000 miles on this car. Just hit 282 the other day, so this is very well brought in. This isn't like an old car that sat in a garage and only has like 50,000 miles on it. Like this thing's it's put in its work. 282,000 miles. That is a lot. A lot of people can't say they've gotten that much mileage out of their car. All right, so nobody asked for it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. If anybody follows my Snapchat, you know that I said that I was gonna be doing a full video review on my 2003 GMC Sierra 1500. So this is gonna be that review, and this is the beauty right here, the one, the original, the 17-year-old powerhouse. Let's see how it stacks up in today's world. Now to begin, I to this day think this is just such a beautiful looking truck. In this time period, they used a lot of chrome. It's actually a metal bumper too. It's not plastic. Used a lot of chrome. I love the grille. Yes, that GMC logo is tie wrapped on. That broke a few years ago because my dad was driving on the highway and a big ass piece of ice hit the car and smashed it all up, but it works. I still to this day love this design of the headlights and daytime running lights and everything, because you got your regular headlight, you got your high beam, you got your daytime running light, and you got your blinker. I don't know, I feel like that design is great. I do love the new halo looking lights, but you know, that's just an aesthetic thing. Not everybody matters. Nice clean flat hood. Got the I forget what it's called, but basically the bug guard thing. I don't know, the thing that like makes it so rocks don't, you know, come and chip your hood. And as you can see, that really hasn't been any issues with that. I got a little bit of rust right here, but not bad. One thing I will say I hate about this truck to the end of my days is these things don't stay up. And like every car I've ever seen in my entire life, you know, has a spring-loaded thing where like this will like stay up. You can leave them up if it snows or something. These don't do that, and to this day, it baffles me. I really don't know why. Radio antenna. This antenna up here, I believe, is for like OnStar or something like that. If you know what OnStar is, it's the service that GM actually still does to this day. And it's basically just a roadside assistance service, so like if you get in an accident and stuff like that. So that's what that is. Door's a little dinged up here. Funny story about that. This is when I was still fairly new to driving the truck, and I was in my driveway and I was gonna back it up and I was gonna fill the tires with air, and I left my door cracked open. You know, one thing goes to another, and I rolled backward and it got caught on my basketball hoop, and the car had moved too fast for me to like, you know, stop it in time. So bent this out. For a long time this was like bent outward, and like you could hear the air rushing in the car and stuff. You still can a little bit, but me and my dad went in there with a hammer a little while ago and just kind of beat it in, so now it opens and closes fully functionally. Before it could only open the door halfway, now it fully functions, so that's good. I love the mirrors in this car, still love them. I don't know if you can see right there, it's got the arrow, and that'll light up when I turn on the blinkers, so hang on, I'll do that for you. And we'll get to the interior eventually. I'm just not gonna like show a ton of it right now, but so hang on, I gotta put on ignition. There you go, that one's on, and that one comes on too. So I love that. A lot of people like that. That's not really something that you get on the lower end. And to be completely honest with you, this wasn't a lower end model truck. This was an SLT, so this was second from top of the line of the Denali. So I mean, it's not surprising to me that it has them, but I just love those, and you probably won't get them unless you buy a $70,000 truck in today's world. So that's that. Wheels. These are some solid rims. Not really, no trouble with them. Not really rusting out really bad or anything. And this crap right here is actually where they had to move a magnet for balancing the tire. So that's all that is. That isn't like rust or anything screwed up like that. Got these plastic covers on here to cover the lug nuts for when you're going to take off your wheels and stuff. It's got four-wheel disc brakes. I can show you that underneath after. Really love having that, because a lot of trucks, even to this day, I know the Toyota Tacoma still has drum brakes in the back, and it baffles me because there's no reason why any car should still be using drum brakes in today's world. So it's nice to see that, you know, 17 years ago that was a standard thing on these trucks. And maybe it's because my model's a higher end, but still it's nice to know that it had that. Got a little bit of rust bubbling up right here on the gas cap. That's going to be a common problem you'll see on my car, is the rust building up. You can see it right there. Again, nothing major there, but it's there. Fender flares, these are new. Just a plastic cover goes along the inside. My wheel wells are rusting out really bad. I'll actually show you right here in the driver's side. You can see that up here. This stuff is so thin and light, I could break it with my hand. That it's really rusted out bad. So again, common problem you'll see on this car, but for right now it's still working. But yeah, I got these, and I think they actually look really good. I think it makes the car look more modern, and I kind of wish they did this kind of stuff from the factory. I don't know why they didn't do that from the factory back then, because they've known for a while that wheel wells are like the first place that usually start rusting out on the car, other than the frame underneath. And unlike the frame underneath, where it's like, you know, like really thick like steel and stuff like that, it's like the body of the car, you know, I'm not saying it's not strong metal, but like this stuff isn't as thick as, you know, the goddamn frame underneath. So I don't know, I really wish that these would have been standard from the factory for, oh, God knows how many years now. I don't know. They knew that a long time ago, and they just didn't do anything about it. Again, planned obsolescence. I don't like to believe in that idea, but I know that idea exists. Back here, got my tailgate. This thing is, this bezel is loose. That's on me. I actually broke it in the parking lot at work a few months ago. I accidentally backed into a carriage not seeing it, so that broke, but I replaced the handle and everything, so it still works. It's just that bezel thing's loose. I held it in with flex tape, and it's been working fine, so that's that. Got the bed liner here, original GM bed liner. My dad bought it like, I don't know, a week into having the car. Again, this is all things he's told me, because, you know, I'm 17 years old myself, so this I don't know, I wasn't sentient. I was alive, but I didn't know what was going on when my dad bought this car. I was an infant. But yeah, so pretty nice bed. I want to say this is like 6.3 feet. Maybe it's not, maybe it's 5.8 feet, but I know it's not the short bed. I don't think it's the short bed. If it is, maybe I'm wrong and you can correct me, and I'm sorry, but it's definitely not shorter than the short beds in the new trucks, because the new truck short beds are just kind of fucking ridiculous. They're like fucking 5 feet, and it's like, wow, you're gonna buy a big ass fucking truck for $60,000 and you can get 5 feet of bed space. It's like, these things aren't even like really used as trucks anymore. I get it for people who are towing, but it's whatever. Again, other thing on me. I have a cover right here. This is leather. This wraps over the bed. I can show you that after. This just wraps over the bed, but for the purpose of this video and showing you the bed and the bed liner and everything, this is what it looks like inside. As you can see, I got LEDs in here too. I didn't do that. That was I helped my dad do it years ago now, but those are wired in, so when we turn on the, I don't know, whatever the hell that light is up there, the bed light, I guess you can call it. When that turns on, these also turn on, and it lights up these so you can see inside here at night. We got some hooks in here just for holding down cargos. You can tie things down and stuff like that. There's one in each of the corners, as you can see. So that's that. Pretty basic in there. Obviously these rail things are added on because this is for that cover, so that's what that is. This wheel well has rust pretty bad on it. You can actually see it right here coming out. My dad grinded that down and stuff when we redid these, and so that's why we have these fender flares, is because it was rusting really bad, so that's why we did that. You can see some really bad rust right here too on the running boards. This stuff, you can actually see the foam is actually exposed for the insulation with the metal right here. That's how bad that is. So there's that. You can see the, hang on, sorry. You can see the rust that's going underneath on the running boards there. Frame is still solid. It's got surface rust, but frame's still solid. It's just this kind of stuff that's going. So that's the exterior of the car. We're gonna go to the interior now. And so now looking at the interior, Actually, well, first of all, I should talk about the seat covers. Why do we have these seat covers on here? Well, these don't match the color of the truck at all, and I really do kind of hate that, but it is what it is. But these were the only things we could find that were like actually really strong fabric that were good. But basically, these seats underneath, these leather seats on these GM trucks, they're just known to go. They're good quality, but you know, so many years of you just, you know, kind of coming in and rolling over on it when you get in the car, it wears, and it wears really bad right here. And once it rips here, it kind of just spreads. So that's what happened here. The heated seats don't really work anymore either. This is where I would control them on this side. They don't really work anymore either, and I think it's because the seat is ripped, and it probably senses that somehow, which is kind of crazy to think about, because you'd think 17 years ago they wouldn't have had technology like that, but you'd be surprised. But so that's why we have these seat covers. That side is basically perfect. There's actually like no rips in that side at all, but we just have the seat cover on there for preventative maintenance anyway, you know what I mean? So not that we'd redo these seats ever anyway. I mean, this seat's been ripped since I was a kid, so that's why this is here. I mean, my dad literally has like fucking packing tape on here holding it together, and then we got this on top. So I mean, you can even see the tape right here we have. So yeah, I mean, that's that. But that's any truck, and that's not, I don't want to, I don't really, GM doesn't have good quality today, but I don't want to rag on them about this, because I feel like basically every car ever, the leather seats eventually start going, so I can't say anything about that. Coming in here now to the what's it called, the dash right here. Got our GMC steering wheel. This, of course, like I said, was second from top of the line, so we got steering wheel controls. This person, whatever this icon you want to call it is, this is for OnStar, which you got to pay for, so we don't have that. Program, I honestly don't actually know what that does. It does something on my radio. I think it might like tune or something like that, but, and so that does source up and down. Obviously, if you had the stock radio in the car, it would do that. I mean, it also does that now on my radio too. I changed the sources on my aftermarket, but that's pretty self-explanatory, changing the sources, just like changing inputs on your TV. Seek up and down. Obviously, if you're on a radio and you're listening to radio channels, it's going to seek up and down on the channel list and tune to the frequency with this button. Volume, up and down, obviously self-explanatory. As you can see, these buttons are kind of going bad. They're very worn out. Again, it's plastic. It's 17 years old. What are you going to expect? Again, I don't really want to, I know GM, again, doesn't have the best quality today, but I really don't want to rag on them about this, because it's just, I don't really know what else you would have put in here, to be honest. Like, if you weren't going to put plastic in here, what the hell were you going to put in here? Metal? Like, you're not going to do that for a button and a steering wheel. So that's whatever. You got these buttons right here. This is like basically your enter button on a computer. It's like when you're working on the dash here. Hang on, let me get my keys out and show you what I'm talking about. You can work with the computer. So to begin with, we've got two driver settings. I'm on instant econ. I'm just moving the steering wheel so I got room. Tells me the driver's door's open. I got all the doors open. I'll just clear that out. Check washer fluid. My window washer fluid tank leaks, so it knows that. But it's on instant econ. It has the engine oil life. I'm pretty sure it set the engine oil life at like 3,000 or 4,000 miles or something from the computer, so you can just reset that every time. Like I said, you actually just hold this enter button, so that's a thing. Range tells you your range based on your gas tank, how full it is. So I got like a little over I don't know, maybe 80% of a tank, so apparently 322 miles with my current gas mileage. Current average gas economy, sorry, this is kind of hard to get, 14.1. And you got an electronic display for your shifting menu. And I know that these had a lot of problems, and like they would glitch out and stuff like that. So like, I don't know. I can't say from experience that I had trouble with the shifter going bad, but that is a thing. That it was a common problem on these cars, and I don't want to let that be unknown. These blue needles, obviously not factory. If you've ever seen a GM car from this era, they all use the same exact dash cluster for the most part, and they had orange gauges to match, you know, the orange icons you can see on like the zeros and the maxes on these gauges. So I mean, that's what that is. Check engine light says it's on. It's not actually on. That just comes on when the car is on like ignition, but like not actually turned over yet. But yeah, I don't actually have any check engine codes. On our shifter right here, got the standard column shifter. It's got this button right here on the end for tow haul mode. When I turn it on, you see the icon on the dash. Tow haul mode basically just it makes your transmission it makes your engine rev higher before you shift. So instead of shifting at like, I don't know, 2,000 RPM, maybe it'll rise up to 3,000 and hold that, and then shift it really slowly. Because otherwise you're gonna burn out your transmission and like clunk gears and stuff like that if you're towing really heavy loads, and then you just all of a sudden slam into a higher gear because it puts a lot more wear on the engine and strain. Electronically controlled 4-wheel drive, electronic transfer case underneath. We got auto 4-wheel drive, which if you ask me does absolutely nothing. It's basically useless. It basically just turns on 4-wheel drive, and there's no reason for just not manually putting on 4-wheel high. But we're in 2-wheel low, put on 4-wheel high, and then when you want to go into 4-wheel low, I gotta shift the automatic transmission into neutral. I can show you that later, and it'll do that. This is the bed lights. I can turn that on, and actually I can go show you the LEDs right now coming on. As you can see, the LEDs have now come on. They're obviously not bright during the day, but they're bright at night. So that's what that is. That's how that works. This is the fog light button, and yes, it's broken. That's because I had to do some soldering work within that. So that's all that is. But yeah, it's off. So that's what that is. This is your headlights, so it's on auto right now, so they're off. This manually shuts off headlights and turns on the accessory lights inside the car. That's obviously done by me too, the blue lights. That's high beam. No, that's regular headlights. Yeah, that's what that is. Air vent, open and close, move it back and forth, up and down. Pretty standard procedure. Talk about the dash cluster here. So this is obviously done by me. I put in LED lights behind it. Sorry, the glare on like the glass lens here is getting in the way, but it's got the blue LEDs, and then I matched that with the blue needles. I think it looks really good, especially at night. So that was good. Funny story, when I was actually doing this the first time, I actually ruined my dash cluster and had to send it back and get a new one, and that was $350. But hey, I mean, I know how to do it now. Sometimes you gotta make mistakes to learn how to do things the right way, so that's that. Air conditioning unit, I don't know if you can tell, this is LED backlit too. I had to buy a new one of these too because I ruined my first one when I tried to put in the lights the first time, but it's working now. Blows AC and heat. Very, very hot heat. This engine, the heater core inside there is fucking massive with this V8 engine. It gets so fucking hot. My radio right here. It's just pretty standard. Got a tuner. If you want to pay for Sirius XM, you can get it. I can connect to Bluetooth. If I'm connected on Bluetooth, I can call people. I can get media from a USB. Put in an aux. I got an aux input right there. I got settings. I got a backup camera, which actually I can show you right now too. If I shift into reverse, my backup camera comes on automatically too. So that's a thing. So that's set up with my radio. So that's pretty convenient. Airbag on and off. I don't know. It's always on auto. Never shut that off. I love this AC unit though. It's so simple. This is like a clear button. It means you just shut everything off. This means you recirculate air in the car, so you're not actually sucking in air from outside when you're using the air conditioner. You're just using the air that's inside the car, which actually helps keep it colder in the summertime. This is the AC compressor on and off, so it's whether you want to just blow air through the vents or turn on the AC compressor. This is the heat for the windshields, defogger, whatever you want to call it. This is the rear heat for the back window. As you can see, it's got those blinds in the back window. Those heat up with electricity and defrost the back window on cold days and stuff like that. Gets rid of the ice. Got two 12-volt cigarette lighter ports. This one had a cap. It's gone. It's whatever. You got two cup holders here. You got this here. I got a change thing right here. You don't need this. This is just, that didn't come from factory. That's just that. Nice armrest. You can fit a lot of stuff in here. I don't really know if you can tell, but this thing's pretty deep. I got a decent amount of stuff in it, so that's that. Got a glove box over here. Fit a decent amount of stuff in that, owner's manual and stuff like that. So documentation of when we done repairs. This car also is equipped with the Bose sound system. Very fantastic sound system. Still the best sound system I've ever heard in a car. To this day, I've never heard anything better. So there's that. Sorry, my car alarm, not alarm, but my chime just kept going off because I had left my headlights on and accessory and didn't realize it. Best sound system I've ever heard in a car. Very fantastic. It's got the two big speakers right here in the front. You got these ones in the back. I don't know, just rear speakers. I mean, they do have sound and they do have good sound in the back, but obviously the front ones do most of the good sound. Somewhere down here inside this big monstrosity of plastic casing is a dedicated subwoofer too. So this is a loaded system. This is a really good Bose sound system. If you know anything about Bose, they make good speakers. Fantastic. This is my mirror. It's auto dimming. This thing right up here used to tell the temperature outside. Again, very high-end thing because I had the second from top of the line model back in the day, but temperature sensor stopped working. Something shorted in here. I actually know that because I went in and I tried looking at it and I found where it shorted and tried to fix it, but it didn't do anything. So, oh well. I could spend 45 bucks and get a new one, but I really don't care that much at this point. Overhead lights, turn them on and off with these buttons. Got like an eyeglass case holder thing. You got your whatever you call these, the sun blockers, visors, whatever. I don't really know what that thing is. I don't know if that's a microphone for OnStar. I don't know if that's a speaker, tweeter, whatever you want to call it. But those are there. This is added on. This is for my remote start. I added that on. This little microphone is for Apple CarPlay and Siri on my new radio. So that's what that is. Got an emergency brake. Don't ever use it because I can't, because my dad's told me that they told him last time he had something done underneath the car. Well, this was years ago now, but when they did something that they told him that stuff is kind of rusted out and really bad, and they think that if I turn this on, it might never shut off again. So, I mean, if I did have it on, this is how I'd release it, obviously. Brake and gas, pop the hood. So that's the front. Oh, I got wires running in here too. This is just, I have it covered in aluminum duct tape. This is for my backup camera for my radio and stuff like that. So that's what that is. You can manually lock the doors with this, but it's obviously got electronic locks. I got power windows. I just had to replace the power window in that door over there like a month ago. This power window went last year, in the winter last year, so they went about the same time. Both motors lasted 17 years. Again, you can't complain about that. That's not GM quality being bad. That's not any quality being bad. It's just after 17 years of use, that stuff's gonna go bad. I mean, that's just the way it is.